It all started when I was innocently playing in my backyard. My younger brother, not so innocently, decided to bother a skunk. Yeah, you might see where this story is going. The story starts with a skunk and ends with ketchup. P.U. Quickly after my brother got sprayed, I smelled a disgustingly, mind-blowingly nasty fartish smell that spread through the whole neighborhood. It caught up to me no matter how hard I tried to run. Ew. Half running and half barfing, I quickly told my parents what happened, and they immediately shouted, "Tomato! We need tomato!" We all have heard about how tomato cleanses the smell of skunk, right? Well, after digging through the house, we found ketchup. Close enough. Not really. It didn't work. For the next 5 days of school, I could feel the stares as I walked into the room. I knew I smelled horrible, and I had already used my whole bottle of the original Cherry Blossoms Bath and Body Works spray. Looking back, although ketchup was a frivolous attempt to cleanse the horrid smell, this ooey gooey goodness of delight is something worth talking about. Ketchup, the red substance that you put on your burgers every time you eat them. The French fries' best friend. A sauce so yummy you might even eat it straight from the packet just for fun. As Amy Bentley writes in the Smithsonian Magazine, ketchup has significantly changed the way food is grown, processed, and regulated, primarily through the large-scale production of tomato ketchup by companies. So, for those of you who are uninformed about ketchup's importance, it's time to catch up. First, let's explore ketchup's tangy history. Next, get ready for a saucy cooking class before finally diving into the red delicious delight to make a splash on why ketchup is so important. Before we get lost in the sauce, let's find out a little bit more about where ketchup came from. I know that whenever I say the word ketchup, you think of the red sauce in the Heinz bottles or in those little sauce packets, right? Well, what if I say that ketchup wasn't always used as a tangy little taste packet? Ketchup was a man named John Reese's idea. He engineered the first version during the War of 1812, which lasted until 1815. The fighting took place along America's Canadian frontiers and Atlantic coastlines. Militarily, the conflict ended in stalemate, but it had a lasting impact on the communities of North America, including the rapidly expanding popularity of ketchup. In fact, did you know that ketchup was also used as a medicine? Times of India explains in 2022 that in the 1830s, ketchup was sold as a medicine. Doctors believed it cured things like diarrhea, indigestion, and jaundice. Later on, Dr. John Cook Bennett coined the idea and later sold the recipe in the form of tomato pills. The National Geographic says that its name, ketchup, is thought to have come from a Chinese dish called ke-xiap, a dish made from meat or fish and pickled fish. As trade routes widened, the knowledge of ketchup also became more well known. It was brought back to Britain when British traders were posted up in the Philippines during the 18th century. Over there, British cooks from all over started making assortments of paste featuring many different vegetables. Although the results aren't exactly the same as the ketchup we know today, they were still going for the same thing, to create something pungent, a flavorful sauce that could be kept for a long time and augment meals, at times when household spices were still a luxury to help extend the less than choice cuts of meat, especially if they were going bad. However, many others also think that ketchup comes from the Malaysian kecap manis and Indonesian kecap manis, a sweet soy sauce that's integral to both cuisines. in dishes such as satay, nasi goreng, rendang, and peanut sauce. People also think that ketchup also is distantly related to the Spanish escabeche, a dish of meat or fish cooked with vegetables in a vinegar-flavored sauce. Did you know that there was a ketchup shortage in 2020? Yeah, but it was totally preventable. In hindsight, it shouldn't have happened. All jokes aside, let's talk about how ketchup is made. Ketchup has a special taste. It's sweet yet savory. So how do we achieve this well-known taste that we all know today? A typical ketchup recipe from Serious Eats on March 2024 goes a little bit like this. Add tomato puree, tomato paste, salt, vinegar, mustard, cloves, allspice, and brown sugar. Stir to combine and bring to a boil. Reduce heat to low and simmer, stirring occasionally until the sauce is thickened to the consistency of ketchup. This usually takes about 45 to 60 minutes. There you go. Now you have your own sauce and you saved your own trip to the grocery store. You might wonder, why is there sugar and vinegar in my ketchup? Well, sugar is there to give it that well-known sweet taste, while vinegar is there to balance this out with a little bit of tanginess. But this is only the tip of the ketchup iceberg. According to World Food and Wine, ketchup has evolved and expanded to all different types, from mushroom ketchup to truffle ketchup to jalapeno ketchup to country ketchup, just to name a few. You might wonder, what makes all of these different sauces still a ketchup? We define ketchup as a table condiment that's usually sweet or sour. So ketchup can be any type of pureed sauce. In the Philippines, there's banana ketchup. In Asia, we have soy-based and fish-based ketchup. And in America, we even have a Shrek-themed ketchup. Now, who doesn't want to squirt their condiments out of Shrek's head? Why was the ketchup red? It saw the salad dressing, but that's not all of the secrets ketchup holds in its bottle. Here's another. It's a good source of lycopene. According to the National Library of Medicine, lycopene is a naturally occurring carotenoid predominantly found in tomatoes and tomato-based products. If you don't know what a lycopene is or a carotenoid is, don't worry. Neither do I. But I do know that adding more lycopene to your diet may help prevent you from chronic conditions such as heart disease and even cancer. Not only that, but the Heinz Corporation has also funded $9.3 million in grants to 35 organizations whose work focuses on confronting climate change and environment-related health impacts. It's not just Heinz that is doing this, but the Heinz companies is also instrumental in developing and promoting sanitary production methods. They use natural ways of peeling tomatoes instead of using chemicals. They also use the full tomato, which means that there's no extra transportation energy usage and there's no extra impact on landfills. So, even though I smelled like skunk fart for more than 2 weeks, underneath that was a faint trace of ketchup, much like how ketchup lurks underneath so much of our history. Today we talked about the history of ketchup, its science, and why it's so important. So, next time you take a bite out of your burger and a dollop of ooey gooey ketchup runs down your chin, I hope you remember that even the smallest packet of sauce can have a giant impact. Thank you.